Hi, and welcome to Life Lessons in Bon Jovi songs. And today we're going to do Only Lonely. And contrary to kind of like the format that I've done until now, I'm not going to have like the big reveal of the life lesson waiting all the way up to the end of the video. But I'm just going to jump right in because Only Lonely is going to be about mistakes that we keep making, and that hopefully one day, I say hopefully because that's kind of like, for me, I hope, there's an end to this. Hopefully one time will be the last time that we make this mistake, that we learn our lesson, and then we can just, learn the lesson and move on in life. So why is Only Lonely about, making, learning your lessons, and well, that one day will be the last day that you learn your lesson and that you've learned it and you know it, and you're not going to make the same mistake again. It's because Only Lonely was the final time that they made kind of like a story-like video. And me saying they made it is actually not correct, because the common demeanor was that they didn't make it. They let others decide what the video was going to be. They, gave others the artistic freedom to determine the narrative of their videos. And in the case of Only Lonely, which was the first video and the first single from the album 7800 Fahrenheit, the second Bon Jovi album, so we're still talking about time before their Biggie Slippery When Wet. In the case of that first single, that first video from this album, I kind of like lost my trail here. But they gave a director permission to make something of it. Preferably something good, of course, but it was like all the mistakes that they had made, or that were made. Let's just keep it impersonal. All the mistakes that were made for the videos in the first album, all over again. It was like, oh my god, they really had not learned their lesson yet, and Only Lonely would be like the last time that they learned their lesson. So in this series, 2 videos ago, I discussed In and Out of Love. And I said, oh, this is such a cool video, and they really did it their way. But In and Out of Love was the second single. So we're here, although, chronologically speaking, as I'm going through this series, the In and Out of Love, like raving review, oh, this is such a fun video, was actually filmed after the Only Lonely video, because it was the second single. In and Out of Love was the second single and not the first. So the first single, the album was from March 1985, and that was also, the single, I think what I read technically was from April, but maybe that was a typo. Either way, it was the first single, and they still had a lesson to learn. So the story was, for this video, or the video storylines were particularly messy and unclear, and at the time people presumed that it was kind of like like an outtake from a bigger movie, that the reason that they didn't understand the story was because it was kind of like, pieced it together from what was going to be like a feature-length film or something. And ironically, like decades later, when the whole thing, when YouTube came and new fans got to learn the old material from Bon Jovi, the same thing happened. People thought, oh, this must be from, like a motion picture from the 80s. Let's go find out. But there was no motion picture. It was just 3 storylines, cut and pasted together and not making any sense. So there's like a gang who wants revenge, and they trash up a car. There's John Bon Jovi having a girlfriend and her parents not agreeing with the relationship. There is the band being under contract, but not, not, how do you say that? Like, at one time, John Bon Jovi says something to his girlfriend like, well, if I stop playing, then what do I have? And there's also managers in, in frame in the story, and someone who owns a club, I think, who doesn't pay them, and it's really, really bad. The only thing that's actually artistically pretty interesting was that this is one of the first videos where dialogue is used in a video. So whereas normally you would just have the track playing and the story in the video being told just with footage, with video, with story, with movie. This was actually one of the first videos that had dialogue, and the reason I am kind of laughing is because maybe this is why they overplayed their hand. Maybe this is why they thought that they could just toss in three unfinished and unrelated storylines together, because they thought that the dialogue was going to save them and have it all cleared up, which obviously it didn't. So Only Lonely is the life lessons from Only Lonely is we keep repeating the same mistake until we're like absolutely done. And I really have to say that I am still making mistakes that I've made for years and years and years, and I'm still doing it every day. And I just hope that one day I have my Only Lonely day where I'm like, when I have like my fuck this shit moment, like, and now it's enough, and now I'm never going to make this mistake again. Because sometimes I do decide, like, oh, I'm never going to do this anymore. And then the next time, maybe I can, and I find myself like toying with the idea of doing this. And one is, one very important part for me is planning. Like, I'm an avid planner, but I never live up to my planning. And at the same time, I know that, there's just some things that I really need to do every day to feel good. And if I don't plan those things, or if I, get the order, the priority in which they're important to me slip, then I really just will feel very bad. So it's like, it's almost like I planned the wrong things, like either way, planning is one of the things that I kind of like drop in and out of, and it's never really satisfying. I never really do it. I just get up and do what is important that day, and especially just kind of like get it out of my system. Do the things that involve other people first, do that first. But then of course, you're left with the scraps of the day for the things that matter to you. So you do have kind of like everything cleared from your head, like, okay, I've done all those things. But you're left with what is your life at the end of the day. So that's kind of like, that's also why we're doing this video after the sun has set, and it's May, almost May now, so it's pretty late. You have to mess things up pretty badly before you actually have to film at night time. So today is, I don't know, hopefully it's my Only Lonely day, that all the videos from now on are filmed at daytime because I just have such control of my life and sense of priorities, and I really learned my lesson. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So that was the story from Only Lonely, the second album from, or from the second album, the Fahrenheit album from Bon Jovi. Only Lonely was the third song, and we're moving on to the fourth song, probably tomorrow, hopefully, preferably by daytime. And the fourth song is going to be King of the Mountain. So see you there. Bye.